All right, Stephen Key here, and I have Sarah back. We're going to do back-to-back-to-back videos because there's so much information here. I want to make them short so everybody can watch them and enjoy them. So everybody's asking me, what do you do after you license an idea? Do you just wait till it hits the stores? Are you excited? Do you share it with your friends? Do you help your licensee sell more product? What do you do? What do you do next?
So the first thing you do is you hop up and down. Then you open that bottle of champagne you've had in the fridge and you're waiting for a reason to open it. So you do all that. And then, no, it is a reason to celebrate because it is very difficult to get something licensed. It's a process, and you should definitely rejoice in that moment. Then once the dust settles and you need to move forward, typically you're not really supposed to tell your friends. You could tell your partner. My husband, Brian, is my partner at Galactic Sneeze. So obviously we do all this together. And it depends on what your contract is with the company. With the case of the games that we've licensed recently, we actually had to do a lot of the development work. So sometimes you just pass off your product and you're done. And other times you're still very involved with shaping the product and seeing it all the way through the process.
Okay. Do they care if you go out and talk about it on social media or do an interview? Is that in the contract where maybe you cannot do it, or maybe there's timing issues? Is that something you do?
It's kind of like
okay.
It's kind of like Fight Club. If you've seen the movie Fight Club, the first rule of Fight Club is don't talk about Fight Club, as in all the other rules of Fight Club. I'd say that's very much licensing a product as well. Okay. You are not supposed to talk about it or share any of the information. I think some companies might not want you to even mention that you license something to them in particular. It depends. But really you should not talk about a product until it is out on the market and that company has announced it and shared it.
All right. Once it's out, do you go after social media at all or interviews? I mean, is that something to help sell more? Have you thought about that? Is that something you're willing to do or don't want to do, or?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I think the more kind of attention you can bring to the product, the better. Okay. I don't know if some companies might not want the inventor talking about it, but I don't know why that would be. We're fortunate to be working with Kickerland. It's a great company that kind of celebrates its inventing partners, which I think is wonderful. And one of the things that we love about them. So they're all for us going out and talking about it and sharing our games.
Okay. So you shouldn't really wait for the royalty check. Should you just come out with more ideas? I mean, some people are like, they're waiting for the check to come in the mailbox. I'm like, don't do that. Keep coming up with more ideas. And because it's kind of, you never know what's going to hit or not, do you?
Exactly. So when we first started out in the world of inventing, we had our very first game that we came up with, which is now our game Schmovie. But originally it was called Screenplay. And it was a film-themed game. And we almost licensed it to a company. It made it to the very last round, a big company, and then it was ultimately dropped. And while they were evaluating it, every day, we were like, did we get the email? Did we get the email? And, there's our brownstone we're going to buy with that money. We had no idea. We were completely unrealistic. And now, flash forward many years later, and we forget about concepts we've submitted. We're like, we'll get an email that something wasn't taken or there's interest in a prototype for something. And we'll say oh, right, I forgot they had that. And that's a really good place to be in. I think, there's some people who have one concept and they're pushing that around, trying to sell it their entire career. I think for toys and games, you're better off in this space to be just really prolific and have a lot of things. The trends are always changing. What companies want and what they're making is always changing. So if you get too attached to one thing or too dependent on it, I think you're setting yourself up for some disappointment.
All right. So you should be actively inventing. If you want to be a professional, keep on working hard, right? Don't wait for that success to happen. Create a new product and keep on working and build those relationships.
Yes. And to that point, if it gets turned down by one place, it might not be a good fit for one company, but that doesn't mean that it's not a good fit for any company. So do your research, see what companies are out there, know what everybody's doing. Don't pitch it to a place that already has a similar product and then wonder why they didn't want it. Just, keep at it. Keep at it, and you'll find success eventually, hopefully.
All right. Wonderful.
As we say sometimes, we can't get rejected every single time. I mean, maybe we can. We should stay positive.
Wonderful. Sarah, thank you very much. We're going to do one more. So everybody stay tuned. We've got one more coming up. Thank you, Sarah.